Imagine an island nation stretching across the heart of the Pacific, where the land barely rises above sea level, yet its people span thousands of kilometers of ocean. A place where your watch can't keep up with the sun, and where the day begins before almost anywhere else on Earth. This is Kiribati. Today we're setting sail across its three great island groups, the Gilbert Islands, the Phoenix Islands, and the Line Islands, to uncover their history, their culture, and the reasons people choose to live on these scattered atolls. We'll also take a candid look at what a home actually costs in each group, because even paradise has a price tag. Stay with me, because by the end you'll see why Kiribati is far more than just dots on a map. It's a nation of resilience, heritage, and astonishing beauty. Kiribati in context. Kiribati is made up of 33 atolls and reef islands plus one raised coral island, with only about 20 of them inhabited. Although its land area is tiny, roughly 810 square kilometers, its exclusive economic zone stretches across millions of square kilometers of ocean. The country straddles the equator and the international dateline, so time itself changes as you move between islands. The main population center is South Tarawa in the Gilbert Islands, the political, economic, and cultural heart of the nation. The first settlers to arrive were seafarers from Micronesia and Southeast Asia, whose voyaging traditions brought them to these reefs and lagoons thousands of years ago. Over centuries, Polynesian and Melanesian influences blended into a distinct Kiribati culture. Europeans first charted the islands in the late 18th century, and the British eventually made them part of the Gilbert and Ellice Islands colony. Independence came in 1979, but the old names and ties still shape life today. The Gilbert Islands are the core of Kiribati, the first to be permanently settled and still the most populous. Austronesian voyagers arrived here early, and the chain takes its English name from the British sea captain Thomas Gilbert, though locals call the islands Tangaru. Under colonial rule, copra and coconut oil became economic staples, and Banaba, at the western edge of the group, was mined for phosphate. After World War II, self-government grew, and when Kiribati became independent, the Gilberts remained the center of gravity. South Tarawa today is a bustling corridor of causeways, villages, and markets. Life in the Gilbert Islands offers a blend of tradition and access. Government services, schools, and hospitals are concentrated here, especially in Tarawa, which draws people from outer islands. The Miniaba, the large meeting house at the heart of each village, anchors community life. Fishing, crafts, and communal events sustain culture even as modern commerce grows. Yet the very popularity of Tarawa brings its own problems: crowding, pressure on fresh water, and limited land. Still, for many, the Gilberts mean opportunity, kinship, and continuity. Because these islands have the best infrastructure and the highest demand, house prices here tend to be the highest in Kiribati. Reliable statistics are scarce, but a modest 2- or 3-bedroom house in Tarawa, or a well-serviced outer island, is often estimated between about $80,000 and $150,000 US depending on materials, land lease terms, and proximity to utilities. That may sound modest by Western standards, but it reflects high shipping costs and limited supply. Far to the east lie the Phoenix Islands, known in Gilbertese as Rawaki. They consist of 8 atolls plus 2 submerged reefs scattered across a vast swath of ocean. Today, only Canton Island, called Abariringa locally, has any permanent population, and even there it is small. The rest are uninhabited and form the Phoenix Islands Protected Area, one of the largest marine sanctuaries in the world, established to conserve pristine coral and rich marine life. The Phoenix Islands have a haunting history. In the 1930s and 40s, the British attempted the Phoenix Islands settlement scheme, moving families from the overcrowded Gilberts to uninhabited atolls such as Arona and Nikumaroro. They built villages like Arariki and tried to make a living from copra and fishing. But drought and isolation made life unsustainable, and by the 1960s the settlements were abandoned. Today the islands are mostly visited by scientists, conservationists, and the occasional adventurous sailor. They represent one of the last truly wild archipelagos on the planet. For the very few who live on Canton, or who might dream of an eco-lodge, the attraction is solitude, nature, and a sense of guardianship over a global treasure. But the remoteness and lack of infrastructure make permanent residence challenging. House prices here are not really market prices at all. You would essentially be importing and building everything yourself. A small house on Canton could cost anywhere from $150,000 to over $400,000 US simply because of shipping and setup. On the uninhabited islands, the cost would be even higher because there is no existing infrastructure to tap into. The Line Islands. Even farther east, straddling the equator but thousands of kilometers from Tarawa, are the Line Islands. Of the many islands in this chain, 3 are inhabited by Kiribati communities, the largest and best known being Kiribati, or Christmas Island. This atoll is immense by Pacific standards, with broad flats and lagoons. It has been a way station for colonial powers, a site of military transit and communications, and today a center for fishing and nascent tourism. People who move to the Line Islands often do so for space and a slower pace of life. Compared to South Tarawa, Kiribati feels open and uncrowded. Villages like London maintain traditional Kiribati culture, but with their own flavor shaped by remoteness and history. Infrastructure is more limited than in the Gilberts, but far better than in the Phoenix Islands, and the natural environment, beaches, bird life, fishing grounds, is a powerful draw. Average house prices on the inhabited Line Islands are lower than in Tarawa, but still affected by shipping costs. A modest home on Kiribati might run between about $70,000 and $140,000 US depending on location and materials. For people seeking a balance between opportunity and tranquility, the Line Islands offer an appealing middle ground. Living across 3 worlds. Kiribati's 3 island groups offer very different experiences. The Gilbert Islands are crowded but convenient, with the best schools, hospitals, and markets. The Line Islands are more remote and relaxed, with larger atolls and fewer people. The Phoenix Islands are almost untouched, a realm of reefs and seabirds where only a handful of people live. These differences shape why people move internally, from outer islands to Tarawa for education and jobs, or from the Gilberts to Kiribati for space, or even out to Canton for research or conservation work. Each choice carries trade-offs. The Gilberts offer the most services but also the most crowding. The Lines offer space but higher transport costs. The Phoenix offer solitude and nature but little infrastructure. Average house prices reflect these realities, roughly $80,000 to $150,000 US in the Gilberts, $70,000 to $140,000 in the Lines, and $150,000 and up in the Phoenix for those rare cases where you can even build. Challenges and the future. All 3 groups face similar challenges. Climate change and rising sea levels threaten shorelines and freshwater supplies. Almost all building materials and many foods must be imported, making costs high and supplies uncertain. Infrastructure maintenance is difficult, especially on remote islands where ships and planes are infrequent. Yet there are opportunities too. Tourism, especially ecotourism, can bring income. Solar energy and improved transport can reduce isolation. Preserving cultural heritage, from the maniaba to oral traditions, gives communities a sense of identity as they adapt. Kiribati is not one place but many worlds. In the Gilberts you find the heartbeat of a nation. In the Phoenix you glimpse a marine wilderness. In the Line Islands you feel the pull of wide skies and open lagoons. Each offers a different rhythm, a different promise. For some the draw is family and tradition. For others adventure and seclusion. For others the hope of a new start. Yes, there are challenges, high costs, isolation, the relentless sea. But there is also resilience, community, and a simplicity hard to find elsewhere. If you've ever dreamed of living where the ocean defines your horizon, where the stars feel close, where tradition holds strong even as the tides rise, Kiribati might be calling you. Which group would you choose? The bustling Gilbert Islands, the quiet Line Islands, or the remote Phoenix Islands? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this journey across Kiribati's 3 great island groups, like and subscribe for more stories from far-flung places. Until next time, may your horizons be wide and your spirit adventurous.